The world is still reeling over the recent terror attack in Israel at the hands of Hamas. Thousands dead and injured, and many other Israelis were taken as hostages. At the time of this taping, 5 Canadians have been either killed or missing from the attack. The Canadian government is working to get Canadians out of Gaza now in anticipation of an Israeli ground invasion. But how is the Canadian Jewish community coping in the face of this heinous massacre? Why are Canadians participating in rallies across the country, many with pro Hamas supporters? How does the Jewish community feel? Do they feel safe in Canada amidst all of this? Well, joining me to share his insights is Richard Marceau, Vice President, External Affairs and General Counsel for the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs. Richard, thank you so much for coming on. And firstly, my sincere prayers to you and the entire Jewish community for what has happened. To say it's shocking and devastation is an understatement. How are Jewish Canadians coping in the midst of all of this?
The Jewish community is reeling. Canadian Jews are hurting. Canadian Jews are afraid. Most of us have family and friends and colleagues and loved one in Israel. For example, I have a son now in Israel who's clerking at the Supreme Court, and he was caught in Beersheba, which is about a 20-minute drive from Gaza when this whole thing started, when Hamas came out of Gaza and started to massacre baby and rape women and burn whole families alive and take hostages. So there's that part. And then we're seeing in our streets people celebrating the attacks, throwing candies to celebrate what Hamas did, calling for from Israel to the sea, Palestine would be free, which was basically saying, let's do to all Jews in Israel what Hamas did in those communities surrounding Gaza. So this is what we're facing, and it's hard. It's a hard moment to be a Jew now in Canada.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I appreciate that your son is there. I mean, this must be hard for you also as a father, not just as a Jewish Canadian, but also as a father who has a son so close. So share with our viewers, and I know you touched upon it, just to bring them up to speed. What happened on October 7th in a synopsis, and where do things stand now?
So on Saturday, October 7th, many things happened. Tragedy struck. It was a regular Saturday morning. People were going around about their business. It was Saturday morning, so a lot of people were still in bed. And about 1,500 terrorists, people looking for blood, for Jewish blood, came out of Gaza and they attacked a rave. So people celebrating life, young people, they started to shoot at those young people. 260, the last number I had, of those people were killed, massacred, shot at in cold blood by those inhuman people. And then they attacked little communities, farming communities, going from house to house, shooting them in their beds. They massacred kids, beheaded many of them. They burned people alive. When people were in bomb shelters, they threw grenade so that they could kill as many of as. So they were looking for Jewish blood, and they got Jewish blood.
And we did a recent show on this, and we had Sarah Teach on from the Macdonald-Laurier Institute, and she was explaining that that is sort of the MO of Hamas, that in its own charter, that's they seek the extermination of the Jewish people from Israel.
Well, so yes, and that is where part of the hurt comes from. We kept telling the world, those are not people who want peace. The world saying, a peace two-state solution. And I believe that people should live in dignity and freedom. But Hamas does not. Hamas wanted to kill Jews. They've said it. It's in their charter, as you mentioned, Tanya. It was for the world to see. And now they've proven it. All those years we were saying those are bad people. They do not want peace. And now they've shown it. And this is what happened when Jews are not vigilant. When Jews are not vigilant, people come for us and try to kill us and kill us. They did that day, and they keep doing it day after day. There's a barrage of missiles. Rockets are being launched on Israeli cities, on Israeli citizens, on Israeli villages, on Israeli towns, and people are scared. They have to run
Yes.
For to bomb shelter. I'll go back to what
I'm going to
to
pause
my
you there.
son's
We
experience.
have to cut to commercial, but we'll pick this up in just a moment.
Okay.